So I saw a couple of you guys in the comments talk about, hey, could you do a video on Maxx Crosby? And I'm like, no, there's no juice to it. But then this morning, I saw an article from Dan Graziano that suggests that Maxx Crosby still could be traded, and the Patriots are one of those teams. So let's talk about it. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports, presented by PrizePicks. I am your host, Brett Alper. And before we get into all the Maxx Crosby talk and everything about the Patriots needing an edge rusher, I'll ask you guys, what is the biggest Patriots need after the A.J. Brown trade? We got the trade done. We got our wide receiver one. But what is the number one need now for the Pats going into the 2026 season? Let me know down in the comments section. For me, we know that the Patriots need an edge rusher. We know that is the biggest weakness. You have your secondary. You have your offensive weapons. You have your better offensive line. You have your good interiors. But the defensive edge is where you need to improve. And Maxx Crosby could be one of those guys that the Patriots could trade for. Here's what Dan Graziano said in his article. He said, well, Crosby already got traded this offseason, sort of. He was headed to Baltimore for a pair of first-round picks until the Ravens backed out over medical concerns regarding his surgically repaired left knee. Since that time, Crosby's $29 million salary has become fully guaranteed in 2027, which means any team that acquired him would owe him $59 million over the next 2 years. That isn't a bad number for Crosby's caliber, but he turns 29 in August, and it remains to be seen what he looks like coming off that knee injury that was bad enough to kill the blockbuster trade. I wouldn't expect Crosby trade talk to heat up again until he gets onto a field and shows that he's healthy, and from everything that I've been told, that could be in August or later. So what this tells me is the trade would happen in season. So it would not be, let's say, in the next couple of weeks, couple of months. He would have to get on the field. He would have to show, hey, I'm not injured. I could actually play. I'm not hurt. I could be traded and maybe be a part of a team that's a contender. And that's what Dan Graziano said, some of the multiple teams. He said Crosby might stick with the Raiders all year at this point, but if he's going to get traded at all, we're probably looking at something in season ahead of the deadline. If a team such as the Cowboys, Bills, Bears, or there he says the Patriots, finds itself in contention and in need of immediate pass or impact pass rusher, things could get interesting here again. So that's where the Patriots come into the situation. And for Crosby, I mean, we know the type of player that Maxx Crosby is. He is 29 years old, coming off that knee injury, but when he is healthy, I mean, guaranteed, he's one of the best pass rushers in football, and way better than what the Patriots currently have. When you look at the last 4 seasons where he has played, I mean, 73 tackles last season in only 15 games. In 2024, he played 12 games. He still had 7.5 sacks. The year before that, he had 14, and then before that in 2022, he had 12 sacks. This is by far one of the best pass rushers in football, and then 90 tackles in 2023. And he's also just a hard hitter. 20 QB hits, 40 in the last 2 years. And for what the Patriots have right now, you need to get better. Draymond Jones and Harold Landry, I keep saying, I'm going to sound like a broken record here over and over again with Jones, with Landry. Gabe Akers still hasn't signed his contract, and he's dealing with a hamstring injury, as we talked about on last week's show. And then Elijah Ponder, who is that second-year guy coming out of Cal Poly, the undrafted free agent, that's really coming to his own, but he's no Maxx Crosby. And Vincent Bonsignore, who covers the Raiders out in Vegas for one of the newspapers, he said that Crosby could be pried away, that he could be traded if the right price is available. Now, the Patriots willing to pay that, we'll have to wait and see. We'll get into this more in just a second, but first, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is PrizePicks. You know I can't get enough of PrizePicks, guys. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. You got playoff basketball. We are literally in Game 3 tonight. Big game. Big golf tournaments, baseball's underway, and I came so close to winning a $300 lineup with Motorsports, but Tyler Reddick got wrecked out yesterday at Michigan. I love making daily fantasy lineups. You guys can follow me on the app to see all my lineups at The Real Alper. Get the picks before they even get posted on the show. Also, follow your friends, share lineups, or explore your favorite celebrity lineups. So we got a lineup for tonight's game. And, I think that Dylan Harper is going to go off. We got the more on his than Julian Champagny. Look, I'm not a big fan of Julian Champagny, but we're going with the more on his PRA. Landry Shamet, he has been lights out from 3. We're going with the more for him. And then Stephon Castle, of course, he's been one of San Antonio's best players. We're going with him on the more as well. You can make a lineup just like that one, guys. The app is super easy to use. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. There's a new user offer. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA to get $50 on lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's code HMA to get $50 on lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. So I talked about how the Raiders could be, or Crosby could be pried away from Las Vegas, but I think personally that the price might be way too high for the Patriots to look after. Look, it's not going to cost 2 first-round picks because obviously the Ravens kind of tanked that with what his knee injury is, but I still think it could be a very high price. And Vincent Bonsignore, he said this. He said, according to multiple leak sources, the deal framework would likely be a 2027 first, a 2028 second, and a young defensive end. Mykel Williams for Crosby, talking about how the 49ers almost traded for him. The Condor began his illustrious career in the Bay Area back in 2019, and he longs to win at the high level and play on the NFL's biggest stage. It's why he wanted to leave the Raiders last March and welcomed to trade to the Baltimore Ravens. So, first-round pick, second-round pick, player. Well, the Patriots already gave a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. They already specifically said, we don't want to give up that 2027 first-round pick for A.J. Brown. We're going to give the Eagles a 2028 first-round pick. So what makes you think that the Patriots would want to just give away that 27 first-round pick? And I don't really know if you want to go away and give up a 29, then you don't have first-round picks in back-to-back years, especially once Drake May gets off his rookie contract. You're not going to be able to pay all of these guys, so you have to build through the draft. So I really don't think that it's a smart idea. I don't want to give another first for a player. I don't want to do that. And plus, I would go get a player now. Like the quotes said that Maxx Crosby could be traded at the trade deadline. Well, we don't know how the Patriots are going to be at the trade deadline. I want someone who's going to be an impact player right now, such as a Joey Bosa, or such as maybe you could go trade a lesser kind of round pick, a 4th or a 5th, for a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau. Maxx Crosby, it would be nice to have him here in New England, but it's just way too much of a price, and you're going to have to wait. We already waited until June 1st for A.J. Brown. I don't want to wait for another player such as Maxx Crosby. But I do think the Patriots need to make another move. I do think they need to add an edge rusher, and they need to get something done before the start of the season in September. So I'll ask you guys, do the Pats need to make another move? Give me a Y for yes, or give me an N for no down in the comment section. Before we get on out of here, I thought we'd go over some of the news. And Kayshon Boutte spoke yesterday to local media out in Boston and says that he will be heading to mandatory minicamp after missing OTAs. And this comes from Dan Roche of WBZ, and he tweeted this out last night. Said some Patriots news that Kayshon Boutte wasn't at Pat's voluntary offseason program for the first time in his 4-year career. He told one of the reporters that he will be at day 1 of mandatory minicamp Tuesday. Boutte, who is in Franklin, also addressed the trade rumors. And that's what the next thing that kind of was the big talking point. Like, hey, are you going to be at mandatory minicamp? He says yes, and then the next question was, well, what do you think of the trade rumors and everything on that sense? And Kayshon Boutte spoke about it. He was pretty transparent about the whole entire thing, unlike Gonzo on Saturday at the event that I was at. I try not to buy into rumors, Boutte said. I could control what I could control. As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing off the field, everything else will play out. But then he mentioned this. He said, I want to be in New England the rest of my career. I enjoy it out here. I've been there 3 years. Every day I'm here, I call this home. This is my new home. I grew up in Louisiana, stayed there for 20 years, but Boston is my life. So clearly, Kayshon Boutte wants to stay with the New England Patriots. He wants to be a part of this roster. But the Patriots, they might not want him to because they got rid of a 5th-round pick for A.J. Brown, and I've talked about it multiple times, that they play kind of the same exact type of way, so it's kind of redundant to keep both of them. But I wouldn't mind keeping him. I wouldn't mind it. I'd be okay with having Kayshon Boutte, but is he willing to do that? Is he willing to be a part of this roster? I still think he could be traded, but when you look at the Patriots wide receiver depth chart, well, he's buried in there right now because he's not getting reps over A.J. Brown. He's not getting reps over Romeo Doubs. He sure as hell isn't going into the slot with the way he plays, so he's not going in Pop Douglas's spot. So truly, I think he's dropped all the way down to 4th on the depth chart, where at one point, he was 2nd in the depth chart. So does that really make much sense for him to go out there and be there on the team? No, I'd probably say he wouldn't want to do that. His targets went from 60 last year? It will probably go down all the way to 40. There's just not enough targets. There's not enough reps for him to get where he's going to be a true part of this offense. Do I think he can still make an impact? Yes. But is he going to be one of those guys that we saw in the last 2 years where he's one of Drake May's favorite targets? No. So that's why I still think he gets traded. I think the Patriots are going to look to rebuild now that they don't have a 5th-round pick, or they have one 5th-round pick yet left. Excuse me, I can't speak. But if the Patriots can find a suitor, if they don't find a suitor, because I think some teams will probably be like, well, he's on the last year of his contract. We'll give you a 7th. And I don't think the Patriots want to do that. So we'll have to wait and see, but he will be at mandatory minicamp. And now we wait to see if Gonzo is there. I hope he is. Just get him paid, man. Get him paid. I'll ask you guys before we get on out of here. Make a prediction. Will Kayshon Boutte get traded? Let me know down in the comment section. Give me a T for trade or give me a K for keep. Mandatory minicamp starts tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to have a full-on breakdown for it here on the channel, so don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now, and as always, let's go Pats.